All right, let's dive into this really powerful idea, the concept of focusing on an ultimate reward. This comes from a sermon by Luciano Subirá, and honestly, it's a way of thinking that can totally change how we look at our decisions, our sacrifices, and pretty much all the challenges we face day to day.
So we're going to unpack this whole thing in 5 parts. We'll start with a choice someone made way back in history that, on the surface just makes no sense at all.
Okay, let's jump right in with the story of Moses. You've got a guy who was raised in total luxury, you know? He's an adopted prince in Egypt, with all the power and privilege you can imagine. And then, he makes this absolutely shocking decision. He literally walked away from being royalty. He gave up all the treasures of Egypt and all those immediate fleeting pleasures that came with his position. And what did he choose instead? To be mistreated? To face disgrace? How does that? It's completely illogical. So that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? Why? What could possibly motivate a person to make a trade like that? What was he seeing that everybody else was missing? And here it is. This is the secret, the key that unlocks the whole thing. His entire decision came down to one powerful idea. He was looking ahead to his reward. His eyes were glued to something so big that it made all the treasures of Egypt look like, well, nothing. And get this, the original Greek word here, apoblepo, it's so cool. It doesn't just mean to, casually glance at something. It means to deliberately shut out every other distraction, to fix your gaze on one single object. It's an intentional act of adjusting your focus. Okay, so this isn't just some abstract idea. This mindset has a direct impact on our practical, everyday choices, and it starts with the pleasures we choose to go after. The speaker in our source material tells this fantastic story about a high-performance athlete. Someone was trying to get him to eat dessert, and his response was just perfect. He said, "My reward is another." See, he got it. He knew that the tiny momentary pleasure of that dessert was nothing compared to the reward he was training so hard for. That nails this mindset. And we all face this kind of choice, don't we? On one side, you have the temporary pleasure of sin, which by its very nature just doesn't last. But on the other side, you have this path of holiness. And it's not about a bunch of rigid rules, it's a bridge to something way bigger, a deep, lasting joy that's only found in God's presence. It's really the difference between a quick fix and true fulfillment. And this idea of choosing our pleasures flows right into the next piece of the puzzle, choosing our treasure. It's all about what we decide truly has value. This is built on a principle that is just so fundamentally true about people. Whatever you value most, whatever you decide is your treasure, that's what's going to grab your heart and steer the whole direction of your life. And our source material gives these 2 incredible, contrasting examples. First, you've got Esau. He was so focused on his rumbling stomach that he traded his entire future inheritance for just one bowl of stew. And then you have the early Christians. They were actually joyful about losing their homes and property. Why? Because they knew their real treasure was something superior, something lasting that no one could ever take from them. So this brings us to a really critical point. This focus thing, it isn't a one-and-done decision. It's something you have to keep doing. It's an active, ongoing adjustment, moment by moment. The sermon uses this brilliant picture to explain it. Think of one of those old-school Roman scales. The kind with the 2 plates that balance each other out? That's the analogy for how we should be weighing our current problems. And this visual just nails the point, doesn't it? On one side of the scale, you put your current problems, your afflictions, and yeah, they feel heavy. But then, on the other side, you place what the Bible calls the eternal weight of glory, that ultimate reward. And suddenly, your current troubles are revealed for what they really are, light, momentary. They just can't compare. So, the result of doing this, of constantly adjusting our focus and reweighing things, we don't lose heart. This perspective is what protects our purpose. It's the key to having real emotional and spiritual endurance. It's what keeps us from getting discouraged and giving up when life gets hard. Now, if we're looking for the supreme example of this principle, of enduring hardship because of a future joy, well, it finds its ultimate expression in Jesus himself. This is just staggering when you really think about it. The Bible directly connects Jesus' ability to endure the unimaginable pain and shame of the cross to his focus. He did it for the joy set before him. He was looking ahead to the outcome, to the joy of our redemption. So what does that teach us?
It shows that having this clear vision of the reward isn't just some nice motivational poster. It's a source of almost supernatural strength that can make the impossible totally bearable and make the ultimate sacrifice completely worth it.
The speaker sums up the goal so beautifully. It's to cross the finish line of our lives and to have every fiber of our being just screaming, it was worth it. All the hard choices, all the sacrifices, all the moments we had to endure, it was all worth the reward.
So after all of that, the question really comes back to us, doesn't it? In our own lives, with our own unique choices and our own personal challenges, what is the reward that's big enough and glorious enough to fix our eyes and shape everything that we do?